whenever politicians go out into the public, of course, they have this type of risk. We all realize that. It's still shocking whether you're in the profession, whether you're out of the profession, but when you see the coverage and just the bodies of the Secret Service jumping in and protecting the person that they're guarding, especially being a former president, it looks like they were instantaneous on the um, protecting him and getting on him and taking him to the ground. It's just amazing, though, that in today's world that this still occurs, and unfortunately it does. And what this is going to do now, of course, we realize it's going to take his security detail up to a next level. And when you're looking at protecting a dignitary, somebody at this level, is that they're going to change their protocol. They're going to change their protocol from a standpoint of he'll probably have a protective glass now in front of him when he does his speeches. If you've ever seen anything with the Pope and how they have that, whenever he does a talk, a speech, any national figure does that, they have some type of protective glass that's in front of them or some type of a shield or a screen. When you're looking at the protection that's going to happen as a result of this, it's going to take it to the next level. It has to. With just the heat and the passion of this election, everybody behind the scenes is saying, I wonder who's going to have the first nut on their side of the political campaign that's going to think that they have to harm one of these presidential candidates. It's unbelievably sad that these things happen. But in this case here, thank goodness he is okay. It looks like it grazed his right ear looking at the picture. Oh my gosh, how close could that come? And it shocks not only those of us in public, but from past law enforcement and in this profession that I'm now part of in the educational world, is it shocks the core of everybody. They're just going to do a lot more event screening. They're going to do a lot more surveillance of key positions. And I know a lot of these events seem spontaneous, but they have to have a pre-check. They have to have an event action plan that's going on. They work with local law enforcement. Local law enforcement comes in with their tactical units. They supplement the Secret Service at these events. You're going to see new action plans developed. Not only with law enforcement, you're also going to see it with the Secret Service. There's going to be a much higher cooperative agreement and cooperation between local law enforcement and Secret Service. I mean, everybody out in the public says, well, this should have happened in the past. This should have been the protocol. You can't say that. You can't judge it in that way. Because when you have a politician that likes to work the crowds, that likes to work the open events, you put your security detail back on their heels because they're always reacting to you. But now what you're going to see is they're going to go in and do pre-planning. They do it now, but they're going to really take it to the next level. And the local law enforcement relationship with these political campaign people, specifically Trump, being out in the public as much as he is it's just going to have to be hardened. The environment's going to have to be hardened. There's going to have to be much more intel that's going to be drilled into. They're going to look at all these possible outcomes and truly, I can't even explain how much more they're going to go into developing a security plan now for these events because they can't be as spontaneous as they are. This just showed the risk. That looking at the picture that's off to my left, his ears grazed. It's inches away from taking out a presidential candidate, a presidential past president. It's unacceptable in today's world. And Secret Service knows what they're doing, and they know exactly how to make these events safe. His staff is now going to have to listen to their planning, their pre-planning, their event planning, their relationship with local law enforcement. All those things are now going to go to that next level because we cannot lose in this country a presidential candidate. Law enforcement and Secret Service and the feds, we cannot let that happen. And this was inches away from happening. Both candidates are going to up the game on security. not since this has happened to Trump, it's going to go up on both sides. This just took this campaign to the next level. By taking it to this next level and taking it to the where you take a shot at a presidential candidate, a former president. This is a wake-up call for security, law enforcement, and the federal authorities, specifically Secret Service, to take this security preparation to the next level. This is unacceptable. They're going to totally change his protocols on open events and in closed environment events. They're going to up it to a level that is going to make him safe. And on the other side, will make the other presidential candidate, President Biden, safe as well. It's going to impact their campaigns dramatically, how they expose themselves to the public. To think that this bullet was inches away from taking out a presidential candidate, a former president, is unacceptable.